Welcome to Tavern Talk. I'm the anarchist as usual, joined to my left, right, whatever it is, Slimpsh. Welcome to the show again. How you doing today, buddy?
Thank you. Not great. Kind of jealous of the playoff fun, but I sure am excited to watch it.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, we'll talk about how purple played out in a minute, but below me we have Animor Tim. What's happening, Tim? How you doing?
I'm doing Animore cool, man. How about you?
I'm doing quite well. And down to my down below, our special guest, we have the Theflyestlai
Hi
coming
everyone.
in. He is our special guest today. So, chat, if you guys have questions for him, throw them in. I'll try and catch them and get them to added to the list. So, first up, let's talk about BlizzCon. BlizzCon is starting tomorrow. I think we're expecting to see a expansion announcement tomorrow. Is that right? I know that's when their "What's Next for Hearthstone" panel is.
Yeah, I
Oh,
believe so.
So
is there gonna be an expansion before the year's end?
yeah, the third one. They do three a year, right?
I've
Ah,
lost track.
And yeah, but we should have another one because it's usually like April, August, and December. Because like the year doesn't roll over till like when is it, like April, whenever the next, and it's usually a good chunk into the next year before the new
yeah, it would
standard
be
rule.
it would be around April. I think that makes sense too. Well, when when's the actual Hearthstone Championship gonna be? I thought that was in late January or February or something.
I don't know off the
I
top
don't
of
know.
my head. But yeah, so we should be getting some new cards and stuff announced tomorrow. I for one will be in Discord with my virtual ticket, screen sharing the WoW reveal, hopefully revealing a new WoW expansion, and then after that we get the Hearthstone expansion, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm hoping that there's some cool new mechanics in there. Uh, so yeah, BlizzCon, everyone watch it. I hope it's some good stuff. I think that this expansion was really cool, even though the heroes weren't really balanced. I wish they had been a bit better balanced, but
Yeah,
um,
I think I think they learned from like first they did the quests. Quests were meh.
yeah.
Every class got two legendaries. They kind of did similar this time around. They made the Death Knights good, too good.
Some of them, yes. um, yeah, do you guys expect to see another expansion of five neutral legendaries and two class specific legendaries again?
I think so.
I mean. That seems to be what they want to do. So,
Yeah, I think they'll continue to follow that trend.
do
I
you
think
think
so.
do you think we're gonna get another new card type? Um, with like we had quests and then heroes. Do you think that we'll get something similar to that, or is it gonna just think we might go back to just two minions, or just have two minions?
I think they'll probably go back to kind of the standard minion-based legendaries.
I hope so.
They kind of alternate. It seems we kind of got a bit of a unique experience with going from quests right into, Death Knights, the heroes. So I don't
I,
know. I think they might go back and then use the next expansion to innovate and make some new stuff.
I hope they keep doing this. I think the whole mechanic of the quest, even though I think the quests wound up pretty bad because there was just a huge disparity in them. Some of them are just fundamentally bad, and I don't even think if they tried they could release a lot of cards to make them good, like Hunter. So, but I really like the fact that they abused like a core mechanic and like forced it into your opening hand. I don't know. I think they found a lot of room to play with some of these more unique cards that aren't bound to minions. So I hope they keep doing it. I like seeing them push the boundaries.
I think eventually we're gonna see some sort of like board effects, like play a card and it affects. It gives you like a aura on your side of the field or on the whole field or something. I think eventually we'll get to something like that. I just don't know when it'll be.
But yeah, at what point do you guys think are there too many different card types? Because Hearthstone is like meant to be played like meant to be kept pretty simple. So I don't know when Blizzard would stop following that theme and decide that it's a bit too much.
Yeah, you make a good point that there is just a lot of sort of singular, like there's the non-quests and the non-heroes, and at a certain point they will have to kind of stop. But one thing I've noticed is like with standard rotation, like we don't have any inspire cards in standard right now, so they certain mechanics will rotate out and kind of help compensate for that, I think, as well.
Yeah, I think one mechanic that they didn't really explore at all was like Joust. Like they kind of just released
Yeah,
a handful of cards and then just threw it out the window. How do you guys feel about that?
Joust was really unpopular, and like I think most Joust cards were bad, and the ones were good just didn't have a great feel to them, and it was like very specific to the Grand Tournament thing. So was Discover too, of course, but I guess they found reasons to continue to pursue that.
yeah. I think the problem with Joust is either it's a really powerful minion, and then like for it to be played, it has to be by itself a powerful card, and then it can high roll. Most of those Joust cards didn't get played as if it didn't high roll because they were contingent on that, and very few decks can at the time could make use of it. Like you might like if there was a Joust ramp card, you'd see it in Big Druid right now because that deck's everywhere. But yeah, it takes very specific decks, I feel like, for that to work.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the cards that was semi-successful with like the Joust mechanic was King's Elec and Hunter, because it was still a beast that you would play. I mean, later iterations of the deck closer to rotation didn't really play it. They played cards that infected the board, like Huge Toad instead. But I mean, hunters tend to play lower curve minions, and of course, you really wanted to high roll and hit like your higher mana cost minions so you could have them in your hand, and it didn't really affect the board at the time. So I think that was a slightly more successful version of the card, and I think if they wanted to bring that back, they probably could.
Yeah, it worked in Hunter. It's a 2 mana 3/2 beast, and it has a chance to draw a card. So yeah, that's probably gonna get played a little bit in Hunter. So moving on past, sort of little prediction talk about the new expansion and BlizzCon, let's talk about Hallow's End. It is ending in the next 3 days. We've had a bunch of different arenas. We've had a couple different. We had the one Headless Horseman Tavern brawl. Did you guys get to do any significant play in the arena? Specifically, I know we talked a little bit about it last week. I was going to ask the Theflyestlai over here if you got to do any of them and how you felt about it.
I played on my free arenas. I don't play arena often, but and that showed because I didn't do that well in my runs. But it was pretty fun. Like, not only do you get to play with all different types of cards in 2 classes, but you also have to account for both of your opponent's board clears and both of their. So there's extra stuff to play around in that regard.
Yeah, I really have enjoyed playing the dual class arenas. I have one now running that I got excited and got the Lich King and Frost Lich Jaina, but I drafted way too much removal, so it's 0-1. I haven't finished it, but I'm looking forward to it finishing out. But I've played a bunch of them, and it's a lot of fun. It's definitely made Arena a much more attractive thing for me, and I really have enjoyed it. Slim, Shanamore, you guys played any more? Got to do any other fun stuff with it?
Did my first free one, drafted my second free one. First run didn't go well. I don't know. I pretty much hate Arena. I don't know what they could do to it to make me want to play.
Slimsh is a fan of Standard.
I don't want my
constructed.
gold to end in 5 ever. I'm terrified right now. This run's gonna end up like that.
Yeah, I could care less about that because whatever.
'Cause I'm gonna have to play another arena, and that's the worst ever. Like, I hate arena. It's just not pleasurable.
And then you have to
Alright.
high roll again and get another 5.
Ugh. And then I
well,
might not get it. And I might have to play another. In fact, I might just retire this one at 0 wins. I'm gonna go do that right now.
I hope
I
it gives you
picture-
5 gold exactly.
No, when your wins are that low, you don't get gold. You just get a
Oh.
pack and a
Yeah.
card or dust. Yeah, I'm gonna go retire it.
So when I last talked about my arena shenanigans, I was like 2 and 3, like 1 and 3. I like to think that I'm a decent Hearthstone player, but it's when I go to the arena, it turns out, reality hits you hard. And that trend has continued. I've been like 4 and 3 was my best arena run so far with this dual class arena nonsense. It was a lot of fun, but oh wait, no, I had a game. I got to tell you about this. I had a game where Mage was one of my classes, and my opponent was like Rogue Warlock or something. I had like
I got
4
gold.
Cabal Couriers. Ooh, nice. I had 4 Cabal Couriers. I picked Antonidas off of the Courier. I managed to get it down, and then I'd play Faceless Manipulator on it, and I was just generating endless amounts of fireballs, and I was like, there's no way I can lose this game, right? My opponent, I get him down to like 6 health. He drops Lord Jiraxis. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, I've got like 4 fireballs left, so I start chucking fireballs at his face, and a second Lord Jiraxis comes down. He heals back to 15. I throw 2 more fireballs. I have 2 left. He drops Cult Apothecary and heals even more, and I'm like, I'm out of damage from hand. These Infernals are killing me. It's just like that where you're like, if anyone gets 2 Antoniduses in arena, there's no way they should ever lose. But, lo and behold, that's what happened.
That's awesome. I've had Jiraxis played against me off of Cabal Courier in one of my arenas, and that cost me. So that was fun. Well, let's move on. And on the sheet here, I have playoffs, but I wanted to highlight a quick bit of the SHL finals, mostly because we have 2 people playing in the finals on the show today. So Tim and the Theflyestlai, Theflyestlai, you've already played and won your match. Tim, I think you play after this. You guys, it's really close, 9-8 right now. How have you guys enjoyed the SHL season? And are you excited to be in the finals and try and win the championship? Tim, you want to go first? Give us some SHL thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm actually, we're deviating a little bit from the standard Salty Saturday schedule, but I'm actually playing my SHL match on Salty Saturday.
Ooh, fun. Yeah, awesome. I'm glad they were able to get that on there.
Yep, I'm playing my opponent there, so you can catch that match. I think that's one of the latest. I think that might be the last match. I'm not sure when Rogue is playing. But yeah, I'm really excited. SHL. This is my first season in SHL, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun. It really helps me prepare for DreamHack, so that was really exciting. It's also just nice to kind of deviate from Conquest. It gets old after that's all you play. It's nice to just go to LHS for a bit.
Yeah, I agree. Theflyestlai, what about you? How's SHL been on Tiny Fin Fan Club? This is your first time captaining in SHL, and you're poised to win a championship. So how's it been for you?
It's been a lot of fun. I still remember you interviewing me a few months back, and me trying to worrying about how I'm gonna put together a team, and it all worked out really well. Arcane was one of the first people I added to my roster, and he's like a second captain. Since he has prior experience, he helped me out with a lot of the technicalities. And then we had G-Kick and Jasper comment on one of my posts, my Facebook posts, and then I got a recommendation from Jasper's teammate from last year that he's really good with spreadsheets, and those helped us out a lot. And then G-Kick is like this silent 15-year-old killer. Like he's never in our Discord, but like it's like sleep, 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 and then so that's really nice to have. And Sehun I brought in from he was a practice partner of mine. We were in the same practice group, and like we would try to get HCT points together. And obviously he's had a lot more success than I have, but I told him about this league, and he thought it would be a fun experience, and everything just played out from there. And I'm really happy with the way the team turned out.
Yeah.
Cool. So I got a question for you. What's it like to be playing? I think you and Sehun, or you're the only two people on the same team. So how does it feel to be on the same team with someone in that 1-2 punch, being in both THL and SHL?
It feels pretty good because Sehun is obviously he is better than me, so he's very underseeded at the 2 seed. So it's always nice like knowing that we have a pretty reliable win in the 2 seed. And whenever I have an opinion on something, like last season, I would be like the go-to man hands for what archetypes and how my teammates want to tech their decks. But it's really nice to have a second opinion that's really respectable from him, so that I'm not the only one that's making all the ban decisions and stuff like that. Yeah, it's really helpful.
Awesome. Yeah, since you guys were both on the show, I thought it'd be a good little time to check in on that. And yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how it plays out. Do either of you know when the Rogue JT and G-Kick match is scheduled for?
No idea.
G-Kick says he's playing on Sunday. He didn't
Okay.
specify a time though.
Okay. Hopefully, if it's still in contention, which I believe it will be, unless Tiny Finn sweeps. Tim, don't get swept.
Don't get swept.
Actually,
The
if it's
last time
3-1,
someone told
it'd
me
be
not
that
to
like
get
that.
swept, you know what happened. I think I was playing Theflyestlai last season.
It's okay. Brewski avenged you. I went
He
0-3 against
did.
him.
Parker said, "Don't get swept." I was like, "What? What can you tell me?" And that's what he told me, and that's what happened.
Oh gosh. Oh, excuse me. Whew. Yawning over here.
Power yawn.
Power yawn. So yeah, tomorrow we'll get to see that on stream. Hopefully, G-Kick and Rogue will be able to be streamed, especially if it's gonna decide the series. That'd be really, really cool. So I'm kind of partial for rooting for Tim this week, just so we can get that last match be the deciding factor.
I guess that's fair. I can take out all the people in my corner as I can get.
Yeah. I just don't know if I want to have to listen to Rogue talk forever about how he's the greatest Hearthstone player ever if he pulls it out and, wins the championship for you guys. So I don't know.
Yeah. I'm glad I'm not the deciding factor, but oh man, I don't want it to be Rogue either.
All right, well let's transition over to THL. We're gonna do a quick recap of Week 9 before talking about the playoffs. Mostly purple. Everyone else was pretty much locked into their spot, and purple was an absolute battle. From the beginning of the week to the very end of the week, it was very entertaining to watch. Some very, very close wins, getting teams into the playoffs. So the Heck Boys really struggled against Netherstorm and fell out of the playoffs. Well, I don't believe they were in, but they were right there. The Noobs won the week 14 to 12 against the Bad Hombres, and were 1 point out of the playoffs. Feels bad, man, Slimsh.
Bible thump in the chat.
1 point could have happened anywhere in the season, and it could have easily happened for all of you guys too. 1 point's not hard to find, so
Yep.
we didn't get too beat up about it. Although we did have a DQ in week 1. Whatever.
Yeah, it was crazy close throughout the whole season in purple. The Noobs put together a really solid week trying to get in there. They knew it was going to be tough, but Swagaway was able to just barely hold on ahead of them,
Man, I got beat by Cthulhu Paladin, I'll have you know. It was Cthulhu week for the Hombres. They brought all the Cthulhu decks against us.
Yeah. And so, Tim, tell me about how you guys got into the playoffs, because I'm sure you were doing math midweek. Was there ever a point where you all needed to win certain games or anything like that to get into the playoffs?
We kind of didn't do as much math maybe as we should have. We kind of we're thinking, you know, our fate is in our own hands, but also it depends entirely upon how well, you know, Noob Central, Doghouse, Heck Boys do.
Yeah.
I guess technically it also depends on how well the Hombres do. Even though they weren't in contention, they if they managed to do very well, they could keep Noob Central out of the playoffs, which is, you know, exactly what happened.
Yeah.
But we were just like, you know, we're gonna play our best, even if we win all of our matches and, you know, another team outperforms us, we could be out. We're just gonna go in and do our best. And, you know, if other teams happen to do well, even if we do well and we get kicked out, there's nothing we can do about that. Like Slim said, you could get points at any other point in the season, and the last week, you know, shouldn't be the primary focus when you look back.
Yeah. Yeah, me and Slip and Jimmy played pretty early in our week, and we both won 3-1, and there was a couple of matches played around, you know, the division. So I was able to do the math, and we just needed to beat Zenergy to win. And at that point, we just needed a win and a single point. And then Yellow Dart got swept in the 1 seed by JR Juggernaut. And I was like, uh-oh. Then Kahanic got the point we needed to give us the chance against Imposition on stream. And then Jim Phillos, 133-point underdog against Boom Boom Hall, took it to 5 games and pulled it out. So it was really exciting for us to kind of track it as, like, we get to that good start and then it's like super close, and then we made it. So it was a lot of fun. Zenergy and the Stubbies, never really in question whether they had to get like royally trashed, and neither of them did, so they made it in. And the Doghouse and Swagaway managed to get the 2 spots in purple.
Yeah, we were really nervous about playing against the Stubbies because we were like, we need to get as many points as we possibly can, and the Stubbies is the team you don't want to play if that happens.
Yeah. All right, well, let's move on to some playoff previews. We're going to highlight all 4 matches this week, and then we're going to do some predictions. I'm going to try and... Tim, do you care to keep the doc updated so we can check back on this tomorrow or next week?
Sure.
See. All right, so the first matchup, we have Dirty Mike and the Boys versus Prep Coin Concede. So give you a little background on this stuff. We have Dirty Mike and the Boys was in the playoffs last season. They made it to the finals and fell to HSA in the championship. So they're coming back for revenge. Expect them to really want it this week and this season. But they got a tough opponent in Prep Coin Concede, who was also in playoffs last season, and they were knocked out by Temporal Legends in round 1. So first look at the matchups. What do you guys think? Who do you think? Don't necessarily pick, but how do you guys see this match going? We've got the classes up here. We've got 3 mages. We've got quite a few paladins, and even a hunter up in here. So
Yeah,
what do you guys think?
there.
Well, they played in week 1 before any nerfs. Prep Coin Concede gave Dirty Mike and the Boys one of their few losses.
Okay.
Dirty Mike and the Boys 6-3 on the season. Prep Coin Concede also 6-3. Dirty Mike and the Boys have done a little bit better. They've had bigger weeks, more points in some of their wins. So I don't know. I picked Dirty Mike and the boys to be number one in my power rankings. I still feel pretty strong about them, so I'd give it to them, but it'll be close.
Okay, Theflyestlai, give us your rundown on what you think about this matchup here.
Well, before I looked at the classes, I was a bit conflicted on who I thought would win, because I like certain players on both sides. I think they both have edges in some seeds. But after seeing DMB go Druid Priest Rogue Warlock, which in my opinion is the strongest strategy, I would have to give it to DMB. Like, I can't see any other justification for bringing other classes than Druid Priest Rogue Warlock. So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, that definitely seems to be the most popular lineup. It's rare in THL you get these sort of lineups that are the same all across multiple teams. But Prep Coin Concede didn't even bring that once. They brought 3 mages, as did my team. I let them play whatever they want to play, and they're feeling good about mage. So I'm kind of rooting for Prep Coin Concede. But I think DMB will win. But I want Prep Coin Concede to win to prove that the mage can be good. So any matchups in here that you're really excited to see? I love my boy Crackshot going up against Dirty Mike, and Lefty's, who I think was the 1 seed for a decent chunk of the season, is up against Rebobson, and that'll be a cool one.
Serlos in a team where they all start kind of around the same PR is having an awesome season. So is Jetlaw, but Serlos is 7-1. Not sure
Wow.
if that's updated. That should have 9 total games in it.
Unless there was a
He
DQ
might have
somewhere there.
subbed.
Yeah,
Sub
true.
or a DQ can change those stats. So.
I mean, Serlos has the 420 PR, so we gotta give it to him, right?
Oh, that's it. It's over.
Agreed.
Jello's very good.
Yeah, Jello is really good, and so is Serlos, and both of these teams have been really solid all season. So I'm excited to see how this one plays out.
Yeah, I think. Well, I think Dirty Mike and the boys has the edge. I agree with Theflyestlai in terms of like they seem in unison with their 1 through 4 seed, bringing what a lot of us perceive to be the strongest lineup. They're deviating quite a bit in the 5 seed. I don't know what Cody has against Druid and Priest, and bringing that Hunter and Paladin instead. But I think a lot of the result is going to come down to the 1 seed. That's where they have both their 1 seeds were probably the most successful members of their teams with the highest records. And so whoever's going to take it out of that is going to have a large edge in winning this matchup.
I'm also looking forward to Crackshot versus Dirty Mike too, because I had the pleasure of playing with Crackshot last season in the All-Star game with Tim as well, I think. And
Yeah.
he said some pretty constructive stuff. And Dirty Mike, I like his name and I like his record, so that's a fun match.
Crackshot's been, the past few seasons, he's just been on a really strong run. He beats people who are way higher PR than him, and he has had consistently winning records the past 2 or 3 seasons. So it's been fun watching him consistently play well and do well in the 4 seed and the 5 seed the past few seasons.
Yeah, Crackshot's a god.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the Black Battle in the Black Division. Team Golden Wisp versus the Thermic Whims. Slim shall give us the rundown on when they played originally. Team Golden Wisp is back in the playoffs. They lost in round 2 against eventual champions Hearthstone Academy. And Thermic Whims are a rookie team, captained by Switters, I believe, who waited a long time to get a team in THL, and he's got a battle in round 1. So
they played week 3. This was before the nerfs. I can tell by the number of warriors and paladins and druid bands. And Team Golden Wisp won, obviously. They haven't lost a single match all season.
Yeah. Team Golden Wisp is just on a tear. Somehow they couldn't convince Bitbeaker to bring the Warlock instead of the Paladin. And
I wonder how that conversation went.
Yeah, for a lot of Druid, Priest, Rogue. Thermoquim's mixing it up. They threw in a Paladin, a Mage, and a Hunter in there. So, and they kept Priest for the Mage and the Hunter. So, Theflyestlai, give us, how are you feeling? This is your team. Give us the rundown on how you're feeling about this match.
All right, so I'm gonna start with my own match. I played Blood Hunter, I think week 3 maybe, and
Week 3.
yeah, he beat me. One of Blood Hunter's like strongest suits is his prep, so I think he scouted that I brought Freeze Mage the week before against MMI, so he ran some jank Paladin with Howling Commanders, but like that didn't matter because he ran double Forbidden Healing and he was trying to hit my what he expected to be my Freeze Mage. I kind of expected him to be targeting Freeze Mage, so I brought Secret Mage with Glocka Crawlers, and that did not work out well because Secret Mage sucks. But like really well prepped by him, and he deserved that win. For Sehun's match, I have a really hard time rooting against him. As I said before, I think he's better than me. So I think he takes his match, especially since the classes are mirrored, so he can just straight outplay his opponent. Gideon Jura versus Alec. Gideon Jura was actually a mod for... No, he actually played in the same high school tournament as me. I'm a college freshman now, so last year I was playing those high school tournaments trying to get scholarships. So it's really nice seeing like a familiar face in him. But I'm pretty biased. Like I'm just gonna like give it all to my teammates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking.
I mean, you're the number 1 team at the moment, so it's kind of hard to pick against you.
Well, I was looking at some of these numbers on the individual players. I noticed that Alec and Gideon Jura, they both have exactly the same match win percentage, 63%, which is great. So I think a lot's going to hinge on that match. And actually, in substituting Bitbeaker, Team Golden Wisp lost one of their higher performing players in the 4 seed, which was the Avatar, who had a 7-2 record, 64% game win rate. So a lot. I mean, Team Golden Wisp obviously had tons of success in several of their players, mainly in Seohan, but the Avatar carried a lot of weight too. So I think it might be closer than we could think. I think it's all going to hinge on... Well, everything will hinge on that 3 seed match for Thermic Whims, I would say.
Yeah, the Avatar, like, I feel like he doesn't get enough credit. Like, he gets overshadowed by our 1, 2, and 3, but yeah, 7 and 2 is really insane. Like, that's the same as what I have and better than what Alec has, I believe. So, and he was like kind of I don't know if Alec had much expectations, but he kind of just picked them up, did a little bit of scouting at the beginning of the season. He knew from last season that we would be way over the PR cap. He looked into the Avatar and found a really, really good player.
Yeah, I played with the Avatar on Temporal Legends last season. He's awesome. And I believe, I can't remember who was on my SHL team anymore. The rosters have changed so many times, I can't keep up. But yeah, he's a good player, and yeah, he was on my season 2 SHL team, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. He's a solid player, and it doesn't surprise me all that he's done so well this season. Yeah, I think I would have to give this one to Golden Wisp as well. They haven't lost, but it's the playoffs, and Hearthstone can happen. It is it is really exciting to see these two teams going at it. It's very, very awesome to see a rookie team in the playoffs, and I'm excited to see how motivating Gold Wisp is after their crushing run through last regular season too, and then not making it to the championship. So I expect them to be pretty locked in and ready to go. So I would give it to them as well.
Yeah, the 5 seed match is also going to be very close.
Yeah.
Both of them have pretty even records. Nothing crazy.
I believe Arisen is a student at Kyoto Esports. So if you guys didn't know, Sehun is a member of Kyoto Esports, and they have like a little academy thing where their active roster players would take up experienced players from other card games. And I think Risen is a poker pro who's trying to transition to Hearthstone, and I think he's learning through the Kyoto program right now. It's pretty cool.
Probably should do some more research on the Kyoto. I hear about him a lot, but I never look into it. I guess my prediction is Team Golden Wisp is undefeated, and I don't expect that to stop here. That's all I got to say.
All right. Well, let's move on to my team's match. The Stubbies versus the Doghouse. Stubbies rookie team here. Mr. Mandingo, I believe, is the captain. I could be wrong, but I believe it's him. And they brought some crazy classes. And then you get my team, and we brought some crazy classes. And we can
painful to look at.
This is wonderful. This is my kind of THL playoff match. Well, in case you didn't know, the Doghouse was in SHL, is where we started. We were there for quite a few seasons. I'd captained the team since SHL season 1 over there. And I think we've made it to the playoffs every season, I believe. And we were in the finals last season, and we lost. And so we moved the whole roster over to THL, and here we are in the first round. So yeah, Slimsh, when did we play? I think it was week 6.
More than likely. One moment. Yes, indeed. The
And I
Stubbies
know we
won
lost, yeah.
18-11 with some really close series. You had lost 3 series, 2-3.
Yeah, it was
closer than it looked.
Yeah, they won most of the matches. It was very close. So I'm looking forward to it. Some stats. Me and Osmonaut are both 5-4. He has a slightly higher. We're both at like 55-54% on game win percentage. So that one's going to be really close. Jim Phillips has kind of carried us all season long. He started in the 5 and has moved up to the 4 and has still been doing really good. He's 6-2, and he's going up against Mr. Mandingo, who's 3-6. So I think we're a little favored there. In the 3 seed, Kahanic is 3-5. He's not had the best season this season, but he's still a really good player. And I don't know how to say 21's name. I mess up all these names. Shinsui is as close as I'm going to get. He's 4-4, so the 3 seeds are, kind of in the middle, fairly evenly matched. In the 2 seed, Yellow Dart, who's been great all season in the 2 seed, he's 6-3, is going up against Nate, who is also 6-3, so it's going to be really close there. Slippin' Jimmy moves back into the 1 seed, who's been 4-5, and Misadventure, who's had a crazy good season, 6-2 as well in the 1 seed. So yeah, I think it's gonna be really close.
The 2 and 5 seed matches are the closest. There's a large disparity in the 1 seed.
Yeah. Me and Osmonaut really close. Yellow Dart and Nate really close. I think they're favored in the 1 a little bit. I think we're favored in the 4. 2, 3, and 5 are all fairly close. It's going to come down. And they brought some janky classes. I had a
Yeah.
feeling they would because they're the Stubbies and they're captained by Mr. Mandingo. And I just let my team play whatever they feel like they're going to do the best with. Jim Phillips is like the shaman a lot this season. And apparently my top 3 guys have a thing for mage this week. So we'll see how it goes. I brought the Druid Priest Rogue Warlock. It worked for me last week, so I'm gonna stick with it for this week. So I'll let you guys give your predictions. You can already know what team I'm gonna pick. So, Slimsh, what do you think about the matchup, and who you think's gonna take it?
At times I have concerns about Rogue getting targeted a little bit, but I would still bring it. Most of the time, the Stubbies elect not to bring it at all. Doghouse has a couple mages. I think mage can do some interesting things in a lineup. I don't know about bringing it over priest. So this is a very mixed match and very even overall, but I would tend to favor the Doghouse at the end of the day.
I've brought mage a couple of times. It seems to fare pretty well against priest.
Like,
And
if
even
nothing else, you're
Druid.
going to force your opponent to not play Zoo, depending on what else he brought, is my thought. So,
Yeah.
you can abuse that a little bit.
I've some hope that they were. I saw them talking about it a bunch in the Discord about mage and sort of its pitfalls and its strengths in THL. So, Tim, what do you got? You got predictions for this match?
So I think I hate to look at these class selections. My eyes are killing me here. I mean, it's all over. It's all over the place. The only class that was consistently brought is Druid. We see 10 Druids. So I'm honestly not too sure what to accept. We played Doghouse, was it around the middle of the season? I think it was. And I think it was close. We were 1 point away from winning that matchup, but Doghouse.
But
was
you
tough
lost.
opponents. Yeah, yeah, rubbing it in.
That's what
unbiased host over here.
Brasky beat me down that week.
Oh,
But
he put you down like a dog.
but I played some fun decks though, so it was okay.
Yeah. But we actually beat the Stubbies, and it seems like they're moving away from that hunter. I believe they brought 4 hunters last week against us, so they're only bringing 2 this week. I think their class selections look a little more solid, but I mean, when you see that many colors in the class selection, that's hard to be certain. My edge would be to the Stubbies just because they had more points, but it could go either way, man.
I'm not picking your team next round, not based on principle.
What?
Theflyestlai, what do you think about this one?
The decision for me is pretty easy. I see Hunter on one side. I don't see Hunter on the other, and Hunter sucks. So.
All right. And Slimps, did you give yours?
Doggies. Franker Z.
Yeah. Yep. That's who I'm picking as well.
My dog.
Obviously, I have a good feeling about this week. I don't know why Slippin' Jimmy brought Warrior. I don't know what he's planning on doing with that, but we shall see. And Ozma not brought a Warrior. I have no clue what I'm playing against this season.
All 3 of the Warriors that were brought in the playoffs are in this series. Let that sink in. Every
This is gonna
Warrior.
be great.
All but one of the Paladins brought to the playoffs are also in this.
No, there's...
Oh, no, sorry. No, there's plenty of Paladins. Sorry, I got confused for another class.
Are you thinking of Shaman? Because there's no
2 out
Shamans
of
anywhere else in this playoffs either.
There's 3 Shamans.
In our match, they're not anywhere else in any of the matchups.
Oh,
no
yeah,
one
you
brought
guys are
Shaman.
weird. Bringing all those Shamans and Warriors all together. I mean, good for the Warriors if they run into the Shamans.
Yeah, there's no Warrior versus Shaman matchup possible.
Damn.
Yeah. Alright.
I think week 7, Misadventure swept me in SHL with Taunt Warrior. It It was very
Oh,
humbling.
I wish she had brought Warrior this week and we could, get some info on that, but I don't think so.
Exact.
All right, let's move on to our last matchup, and I'm looking forward to this one. It's Swagaway versus Zenergy. There's some mages in here too. I don't know why Tim's picking their classes when we brought the mages too, but whatever. Tim's a hater. Swagaway is in the playoffs again from last season where they were just demolished by Golden Wisp in round one. Swagaway limped in out of the weakest purple division last season and just got trounced. And we have Zenergy, a longtime staple in THL. Did not make playoffs last season. In fact, their last playoff appearance was all the way back in Season 3, back when I first started THL, when Slimsh recruited me to go through Casuals. So, yeah, I was really, really excited when I saw that Zenergy's back and they're doing work. So let's give some rundowns. Tim, you're the man of the hour, so what are you feeling about your matchup against Zenergy?
I can't even remember how our last matchup against Energy went. I need to look this up.
It was
when did we
week
play?
6.
Week
You got 14 points. They got 12 points. Therefore, you were the winner.
Okay. So,
You won in all the top seeds, the top 3 seeds.
my prediction is that we will score more points than Zenergy will this week. And
That's
Zenergy will, in fact, score less points than us, and as a result, we will advance.
That's some hard-hitting analysis from Tim.
They call me the analyzer. No, I mean, Zenergy has come a long way. I think you definitely saw them evolve. They did a phenomenal job this season. After missing the playoffs for a couple seasons, but they came back a lot stronger. I think it wasn't really that close. I think they made it to the playoffs and very, very solidly. I mean, 14-12 is pretty close, and that could have gone either way at any point. So I'm gonna give my team the edge because I feel like we're a bit prepared for them, but I can't write off Zenergy at all. They're a solid team.
All right, what about the other two? Slim, Theflyestlai, got any thoughts on the Swagaway versus Zenergy matchup? Is X finally going to give it to you?
Oh, I hope not.
I hope so.
I don't know. I looked over just about everything. By all accounts, things seem very close. Doc McButt's been having a very rough season, which stands out. So, yeah, I don't know if Doc McButt can pull it together and learn from what happened the other time, which I think was post-nerf. I don't know. I do slightly favor Zenergy a bit here. Sorry.
I'll never forgive you for this. For giving unbiased analysis. No more. No more.
I'm gonna stick with my boy Tim. Even though I do think Zenergy has slightly better classes, I know JR goes to the same tavern as I do. I've watched him play before. I wasn't, not to throw any subs, but I wasn't particularly impressed. Like, there were a lot of things I could have done better, that he could have done better. I know Sehun played in position before. Sehun wasn't very impressed. So I'm gonna go with Swagaway.
Well, for whatever it's worth, JR Juggernaut's 6-3 in THL.
Jared Juggernaut's had a really good season.
Yeah, true.
He beat me.
I've had the worst season.
I did bad though. Well, I was 4-5, whatever.
Well,
And
you've also had the worst season.
And
Yeah,
in position, I've noticed when he plays, when his stuff works, it works really, really good. But when it doesn't work like at all. I feel like he's like a very hit-miss player. And I don't know if that's true or not, or if he would feel like that's right. But
Yeah, Yeah, I was in the, I think we were both in the 3 seed when we played in week 6, and I hungry crabbed the crap out of his paladin, and he was like, I knew it. I knew that was gonna happen. Why did I do that?
Oh
That was
gosh.
pretty much what that match came down to.
Alright, well,
Hearthstone.
I'm rooting for Synergy solely because I want to keep saying X gonna give it to you, and Tim didn't pick root for my team, so I'm picking Synergy just out of spite. I actually don't. I think it's actually fairly close, and Swagaway will probably has the edge. I think, but I'm rooting for Synergy. Let's see, I'm still nice and to say
What
you
if
have the edge.
what if the X gives it to you, in the semifinals?
Nah, we'll beat them. Like my team's getting past the stubbies. We're gonna lose to the stubbies every time. Yeah, I was kind of disappointed when the way it worked out when Synergy passed up the stubbies for the for the 1 seed, because we had beat Synergy and Swagaway. I was like, I'll play them again, but we got matched up against the stubbies. All right, so now it's time. And now it is time to let's pick who wins the championship. I put this down here, so let's go around. We'll start with Slimpsh. Who wins the THL Season 7 championship now that we know the playoff teams?
Alright, keep in mind, Team Golden Wisp, they will not have the avatar for the remainder of the playoffs. But, despite that, I will still give it to them.
Okay, since
Thanks,
you're the
Slimpsh.
only unbiased one here, Theflyestlai, who you got winning the THL playoffs?
Me.
Okay.
Oh, or like the biased lie.
Good one. Good one.
All right, Tim, who do you have winning the THL?
Definitely Theflyestlai and Team Golden Wisp. All day, man.
Thank you. Feel so touched.
Okay. Well, I'm going with.
Oh, it's the doghouse.
No, if I'm going to be completely unbiased, I'm going with Dirty Mike. Dirty
Yeah, I
Mike
wanted
and
to.
the boys.
That's a fair assessment.
Even though I'm picking Prep Coin Concede to win this week.
I mean, you've got your bases covered. If
I'm
one
go-
goes wrong, then
I'm going with Dirty Mike and the boys.
feels bad to betray my number 1 power rank pick, which I still feel pretty content about. But yeah, Team Golden Wisp has just been
Well,
good.
before we get to our Q&A, what is happening? Why can't I stop yawning? I'm gonna plug Friday Night Fights. Friday Night Fights is loaded. We got 3 matches tomorrow. Kicking it off is Dirty Mike and the boys versus Prep Coin Concede with the 5 seed matchup, Cody versus Necrotic HS. I think that's 5 seed. Yes, it is. And then following up, we have Synergy versus Team Swagaway with Boom Boom Hall facing off against Brasky. That's going to be exciting. I'm still anti-Brasky after he came on the show, said he was going to beat me, and then did. So go Boom Boom Hall. And lastly...
But that Hulk Hogan impersonation, though.
Well, if he wins, we'll bring him back. How's that? If he wins, we'll get him back on the show next week.
Fair enough.
And lastly, we have Texas Stubbies versus the Doghouse, Misadventure versus Slippin' Jimmy. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little scared to watch this one. I love my boy Slippin' Jimmy, but Misadventure, she has been on an absolute tear. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one to watch. I'm really praying for my boy to pull it out, but we'll see, and we'll see how it goes.
I'm excited. I'm gonna cast these with Cinder again. I think we did that last week. It was a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So yep, can't be in any of these matches, but yeah, I really enjoy casting when I can.
Awesome. Well, the cruise sounds lit, so I'm probably gonna tune in up until raid. So.
Yep, hold on to your hat. for that third match.
And just so you guys know, that does start at 8 p.m. EST. So get in there, watch it. It'll be on this channel. And so we put the Hockey Boys came in with the Q&A right before I was getting to it, and I was like, well, dang it, he beat me to it. And then Sage put in a bunch of questions, and they all suck, so we're not answering any of them, Sage. Prove...
I'll totally let you know which Muppet I would be.
We're not picking Muppets. Sage, pick better questions. Okay? I know
There's
you're in
not a-
chat, Sage.
It's not a leopard Muppet, is there? I don't think so. That's the one I would be.
Brunson
Are there,
is...
are there any flying Muppets?
Sage is telling us to pick Muppets, and I refuse. I refuse. Brunson's question was dumb, and I'm not answering it. Bradley Wyndham, Arcane THL, stop asking questions about yourself. I don't care if your teammate's on the show. And no... So no, I'm not answering that one either. Ben Goodman asks, can you pronounce Sehun on stream? No, I can't. I can try, but I fail
It's
every
just
time.
Sehun.
Sehun. Why can't I...
Sehun.
There's too many vowels in there for it just to be Sehun.
Yeah, no. It's unfortunate.
I like it. I like getting all riled up about your all's terrible questions, and I have a lot of fun with it. But Sean Haas, AK, I think that's in position.
That's in position.
He's in position.
He is in position with this question.
He asked, Earl, I will sign you to SHL if I make a team. Just right now. He's in chat asking for a team. You're on my team, boy, okay? Don't listen to Tim or any of them.
It's weird that in position would say that to Earl on Tavern Talk.
Tim, you want to be on an SHL team next season? You,
I
me,
believe I'm
Earl.
on an SHL team.
No, Mange ain't captain again. Me, you, Earl, we're going to run it. We're going.
We'll
All
see
right.
about that.
Sean Hines, AK, in position, your Friday night fights. I want to kind of throw out a shout out. He puts together the Friday night fights every week. He's on it, on top of it every week. He's got us this lineup. He's managed to get casters and hosts for every week, and the show's been excellent all season. He puts in a ton of work. So I just want to give a big shout out to In Position there for doing that.
He sends the best email. He says, get in position, ready for my go.
It is, THL wouldn't be able to run without all the volunteers we have, and, excuse me, sorry guys. And he's put in a ton of work, and it's really awesome, because Friday Night Fights has been great all season, so. He asks, does the THL format where you know your opponent's classes ahead of time limit the classes that people are inclined to bring? For example, are people less likely to bring Paladin and Mage because their opponent will Crab and Eater? Is there a world where THL would ever consider going to a Highlander type format where you learn the classes at the time of the match and then do your bans?
Oh, by the way, in position, like, I know I was talking trash about you, but, like, I really enjoy... so. Yeah, but I thought about this question a bit, and my first instinct was that the revealed classes, like, allow more skill to be applied to the game, so you know what your opponent is bringing, you have a better read on the archetypes, and you can tech your decks as such. But then I thought about it a bit harder, and part of playing the game is guessing the classes that your opponent is going to bring. So I think in that regard that since THL takes away the skill aspect of guessing the meta that your opponent is going to bring, I think that this makes it slightly easier in terms of how you want to tech your decks, but there's different merits to both formats. And I do think that some classes become unplayable. The way that techs are, Eater beats Mage, like Murloc Paladin never beats a turn 1 Hungry Crab. Like any turn from 1 through 3, like the 1 mana 3/4 is like way too devastating of a tempo swing. And I do think that although the THL format simplifies the guessing game that occurs when prepping, it does come with its own drawbacks of limiting the classes that can be played.
Yeah, that's fair enough. I think I I love THL's format just because it's so different from the standard tournament tournament formats. I like having a totally different format while it's still being Conquest or Last Hero Standing if you're playing on SHL to have just a different Hearthstone experience, because having the same Hearthstone experience over and over again gets old real fast.
Yeah, I think for me, THL has always been a unique Hearthstone experience. Beyond just the team aspect of it, it's also submitting your classes and stuff. It's THL's format is very it's very like how good THL is dependent on how suited the meta is for THL. There's times where I think it was last season where like Druid and Warrior, one of them could be Taunt, could be Pirate, could be Jade, could be Aggro, and it is very unfun when you're playing the 50-50 game. And we still have that. But it's the meta. This meta has been fairly fun for me. Priest has been a little like it's got its one archetype, but Warlock has a couple, Druid has a couple, Warrior has a couple, but it feels like the power level between decks has been matchups haven't been as polarizing. I feel like there are some, but it feels like you could win any game you play, versus times where like there's just you get really polarized matchups going into it, and it can feel unfun. I don't know. I don't think I would play in THL if we didn't submit classes ahead of time. Although I'll admit I don't tech that much. I just play the decks I want to play and have fun with it. But yeah, and it gets me above 500 every season, and that's really all my goal is. So, Slimps, I know you played in Highlander League and really enjoyed it. So, what are your thoughts?
And not only that, but I've been talking about this for at least 2 seasons now. I've wanted to move in this direction for a while now, where classes would be submitted in real time. I know that the THL format is unique. I know that it's a lot of fun in a lot of ways. I've had many seasons where, believe me, I've abused the hell out of it and been able to do really well despite recent seasons. Still have over 700 PR. So I think while it's very good in that respect, I think it comes with significant weaknesses, and I think the experience could be freshened up a lot pursuing other avenues. Hearing people say that they're not going to play in it is concerning, though, so I definitely want to see about running a poll, but I don't think it's even going to be necessary because we've talked about it in board meetings, and the board as a whole doesn't really have an appetite for voting it through anyway, from what I've seen in talking about it a few times. And we've even got the deck select tool now to make up for the weakness of the website for the time being. So I don't know, we're going to talk about it in the coming weeks. We'll see if we even get to the point where we're feeling good about it to run a poll. I think it'd be great, personally. And not the Highlander League helped me think about it a little bit more with the tool, but I was hoping for this before. I don't know. I've seen leagues where pros play. As long as the classes get recorded, there's still a history there, so I don't know. I've seen a lot of limitations come along with different metas in the THL format when it comes to submitting certain classes, so to me that weakness outweighs the strengths, but a lot of people feel differently, so
Yeah, I agree.
We gotta keep that in mind.
Yeah, it depends. I think it really depends on like what type of tech. Tech cards are much more powerful in tournaments in general and in a league like this, where if you see your opponent brings mage, you can throw in some eaters, and well, you've got a really big advantage if they're bringing quest or secret mage. Same with crabs and stuff. So yeah, I think there's merit to both sides, but I think I would still prefer the way it is now.
Wait, see, Parker, you mentioned that like THL like is really meta dependent. I don't
Mhm.
want to be like the guy that just complains about every meta, but like I feel like this meta like there's like two tiers, and like tier one is just Druid Priest Rogue, and then tier two is everything else. So I feel like this meta is like not particularly intuitive for in terms of picking classes.
Yeah, THL's always had a meta though. I mean, Shaman Stone that was something.
Oh yeah, we all ban shaman all the time.
Yeah, so yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. It is a very tough question to answer, and I think you're always gonna have people who like one versus the other. So you're not gonna be able to make everyone happy, but I think it's definitely a conversation to be had. In chat, we had another good question from, I think, MMI. And he asks, what implications do you think a Stubbies win would have on the way we evaluate new teams? They were at 620 PR to start. They started way under PR cap and are now in the playoffs and were a 1 or 2 points out of being the 1 seed, I believe is what it was. They were really close. They were the 1 seed for most of their time in blue, and then fell, 1 point behind Zenergy. So, what effect do you think that has on team constructions and how we evaluate teams coming in? With last season, the Dirty Mike and the boys came in with a very unmeta build for their team and have been doing work with it. And it turns out they're just all really good players. I feel like it's what it is. And now with the Stubbies, Texas Stubbies coming in very low PR and doing really good work. So, what do you think about that? I don't know, Theflyestlai, you said you would answer it, so I'm sure you've got some thoughts on that.
Oh yeah, so I don't think the way we evaluate the teams can change. Like the only scale we have right now is PR, and if you don't know the player, that's the only thing we can use to evaluate. And I think that's like a better way to judge a player than no way at all. We can't just be saying like these random 1600 PR teams coming in and be like, oh, they're gonna win the championship. I just have a gut feeling. It has to be backed up by results, which is why I don't think we can change our way of evaluation unless like the PR system changes or something, or you have like prior knowledge of the names of the players. Like you can't just give out gut feelings and use that as a reason for saying a 1600 like make playoffs or win championships, stuff like that.
Yeah, and especially when a new team comes in with 5 new names that no one's ever seen before, the team name that no one's ever heard of or seen before. I mean, how are you supposed to evaluate that? I mean, how can you give an honest appraisal of a team's likelihood to win the championship or even place them in a PR when you don't know anything about them? It's impossible. If there is some metric that can help with that, that would be fantastic, but we haven't seen that.
Yeah,
I
agree with
don't
you
know
guys.
how we could do it differently. I feel like we do an all right job with teams that are non-rookie. A lot of the teams that got, I don't know, we could go back and look at some of the initial power rankings, see what teams actually made it to playoffs, which ones didn't. I'm sure there'd be a good chunk of the higher ranked teams actually having gotten into playoffs.
Rip Aeon. Am I right?
Yeah, Rip Aeon.
Sorry, Aeon, but I was
boys.
thinking about teams that were ranked really high.
Academy.
Oh, well, everyone who ranked Hearthstone Academy was wrong. Just wrong. I was right, and I'm proud of that one. Sorry, Sage. Okay, well that's gonna about do it. I'm still dropping frames, but it was mostly at the end of the stream. We lowered it to 30 FPS. I don't know. We didn't drop as many, but it's stuttering at towards the end of the stream, and I don't know why it's doing it. I've got to figure out how to get these logs and stuff to um, logs and logs to RHAT and figure out what's happening. I don't think it's my internet. I rarely have anything going wrong, but I apologize if it was stuttering for you guys, especially in the last bit. Um, Eric Oki, I'm going to ask this question. Is there a solution to the problem of a high PR5C not being able to gain PR because he's so much higher than the rest without going undefeated?
Not being able to gain PR or gain in the seeding?
So basically what he's asking is depending on team construction, 5 seeds can have a really hard time gaining PR throughout the season due to competition like of lower PR players. There's a big jump usually in PR between the 2 and the 5 and the 4 seed usually, and what he's saying is basically as 5 seeds gain PR, it becomes harder and harder for them to continue that course because one loss drops them back really far because the PR disparity in that seed is usually pretty high. And so yeah, I get where you're coming from. I don't know how if there's a fix to that. Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I think you're good.
Yeah, like I said, it's something about the end of the stream, man, is when it gets much worse. And I don't know how to fix it. We're not... But it's really frustrating for me. But, yeah, like...
I don't know. Yeah.
Go ahead.
I went and found an example, because earlier I know we were looking at Week 6. Doc McButt had a 103 PR. Dexter beat him. Had 82 PR on him, so that was not the most extreme example, but... Yeah, he got 9.5 points, where Boom Boom Hall beat Brasky with their PR differed by 3. He gained 11.9 points. So yeah, there's about a 2-ish point difference in winning with a discrepancy like that. I don't know if that's a problem, especially if you're new, you get a little bonus.
So I'll kind of give you my experience as a 5 seed. It is doable. I got a little benefit from I'm on a win streak, right? Or I think I've won my past few matches. I actually don't know, but I started in season 3 at 210 PR. I played all my matches in the 5 seed, except for a few at the beginning of the season where I didn't do so hot, but they didn't affect me too much. But season 1 I was 4-3 or 5 and I've been 1 over 500 almost every season. I think last season I was 5-3. This season I'm 5-4, and I've gone up a total of 40 PR points. I'm currently at 250. But one loss could drop me back another 20 some points, even though I've had a fairly high record over the course of, or I've had a winning record since the beginning. I get what he's saying. Honestly, the thing is just 5 seeds are at the mercy of team construction. Sometimes it is extremely difficult to really increase PR even if you're consistently winning, simply because you're a high PR 5 seed and the 4 seed above you is high as well. Doc McButt is in a position where he can raise his PR a bunch if he wants to. Um,
Yeah,
and pull it off.
to address Eric's question, I don't think it's an issue at all. There are 3 ways to build a team. There's like the regular, well-distributed PR, the Supreme PR, and the Dirty Mike and the Boys PR. So, the Supreme teams can abuse the PR system by having players that go above 500 PR, and that's like a way to get an edge without affecting the PR you have left to spend. And then the Dirty Mike and the Boys strat can stay together in future seasons by having their lower seeds not gain as much PR, right? So I think there are both ways that allow the team to stay together for longer. Without, like, it's kind of a way to cheat the.
Yeah.
Wait, do you guys understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I totally get what you're saying.
do.
Like Cody can win. Cody can go 7-3, and he won't gain, or 7-2, and he's not going to gain a ton of PR because he's on average 150, 100 points higher than most of the people he's going to play. There'll be a few exceptions in there, and that's just how it works. Like I went to the 4 seed and mostly lost. I think in the 4 seed this season I lost almost all mine, and back in the 5 seed I've been doing fine. I don't think it matters, and I think honestly is it is on it. Like I said, it works for teams like Dirty Mike and the Boys. Cody can win, and his PR won't go up that high because he's beating people lower than him, and that helps your team in the long run. PR is ultimately better when it's lower. So when it comes to team construction, so when I started and cared about my PR, I kind of get where Eric Oki was coming from. I wanted my PR to go up, and now I could honestly care less what my PR is. I just want to play Hearthstone and have fun, you know?
Oh yeah.
So, like, back to when you come into the league, it's kind of a point of pride to try and get it up and stuff. After what, this is my 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my 5th season, and I could care less what my PR is. I just want to go out and win games. I'll fit into whatever team I fit on, and yeah, I think
you made playoffs and you've got a shot at the championship. Who cares?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm just proud of my team. I have a blast with them. I haven't got to talk to them as much this season, but it has been a blast, and I'm really proud of all of them, especially Jim. Jim's been with me since my very first season back in SHL. It was back when it was 3-player teams. It was me, him, and D Lyman. And he's been on every SHL team that I've had since then. And he's gotten so much better as a player, and it's been awesome. And it really, I was a little worried this season after I fell to the 4 seed. I thought that was going to be our weak spot all season because neither me and Jim were really equipped to play it. But I was wrong, and Jim's been holding his own in the 4 seed, you know. Getting us into the playoffs against Boom Boom Hall was awesome, and he had all that pressure on him, and he was still able to pull it off. So, yeah, we talk about PR a lot, but ultimately it's just about I think a lot of it's team chemistry, not putting up too much pressure on yourself, and just not worrying about your PR. Like, don't go into it like if you're a 5 seed and go up against, Doc McButt at 100 PR, don't be like, oh, I gotta beat him or else I'm gonna lose 30 points. Who cares? Doc McButt, he's gonna beat some people. He's had a rough season, but I think he's got it in him. I'm calling it next season. Doc McButt 6-3. Right here.
Well, all
You heard it
that
first.
just to say Doc McButt is 6-3 next season.
You heard it here first. I think Earl's gonna get in there with some practice, and he's going 6-3. But yeah, I think that's my opinion on like lower seed PR. ultimately it doesn't matter. PR down at the 5 seed, like you have Cody at 266, you have Osmanot at 261, you have me at 250, and then down at 100 you have Doc McButt. You know, it ranges really far. I think if captains want to take a look at something though, almost all of the playoff teams aside from Swagga, we have a fairly strong 5 seed. We have Necrotic and Cody, Asuna and Ryzen, Doc McButt, Dexter, me, Osmanot, like all fairly strong, I would say, 5 seeds. So, all right. Thanks, chat. Chat came in with good questions. Chat has let me down most of the season. I'm talking to you, Sage, because your questions are terrible, and I'm just keeping this up for the meme now, and I'm going to keep doing it all for the rest of Tavern Talk this season, is that your questions are terrible, and I'm really hoping you just write a really good question next week, and I'm going to have to answer it because it's so good, and, but I'm still going to call it terrible, but I'll answer it. Brunson69 asks, if there was a mod that made Anduin lactate, would you still play him? Slips.
Yeah, Slimsh, what's your answer on that? I think you're the only one that.
Oh, I would simply play as Tyrande, because she can easily achieve that, because Malfurion's got that seed. Isn't that horrible?
Yeah, they already have that mod.
What was the combo that Blizzard changed? What was it? Soul of the Forest and Poison Seeds?
Something like that.
Was it? They needed
Poison Seeds and Explosive Sheep.
Yeah.
Oh, Explosive Sheep, yeah.
Oh, Explosive Sheep was so cool. Man, that was a cool card.
Oh man.
It's obviously only a mage. It was only a mage card up until that, and that interaction wasn't even B.
Oh gosh, Brunson, I answer your questions just because of the awkwardness, and it makes everyone laugh. Thanks for continuing to be you, buddy. Parting thoughts. As something about it really bothers me how at 9 o'clock my stream it slowly dies. We were doing great through the first 40 minutes and then nothing. Parting thoughts, Tim. Hit me with your parting thoughts.
Playoffs is hype. I'm sad that only 2 teams from Purple could have made it in. I think we should have kicked everyone else out of the playoffs and just had Purple go at it.
All right, Slimsh, what do you got for your parting thoughts?
Tune into Friday Night Fight. We got no matches played so far. Is that?
No matches so far.
Is that correct? Well, I don't know if that's going to change until then, but yeah, I'm really interested in this playoff picture. I'm hoping for some big upsets, make things interesting. If Team Golden Wisp wins it all, that's cool, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I'm really interested in how these playoffs shaped up.
All right, my parting thought comes in the form of a question. If you were a Muppet, which Muppet